Honourable Chairperson of the committee, members of the committee, I would like to give you a short indication of the crime situation as well as the operational strategies in place to address the levels of crime in the country. Firstly, I would like to say, contrary to perceptions that we have an ever-increasing spiral of crime in the country, those crimes that you read about in the international newspapers, such as murder and attempted murder, have decreased dramatically since 1994. Various crimes, social fabric crimes, etc., have stabilized, and the crimes on the increase, such as theft, common robbery, etc., do not make South Africa abnormal in the international community. You can compare the figures of South Africa in that regard with any other country in the world. After the okay, I'll continue. You can find it. Thanks. After the State of the Nation address by President Mbeki last year, the 25th of June, we've launched an operation called Operation Monocyte to reduce crime levels in our country further. And if you look at the reduction of crime in various of our provinces, such as the Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, etc., I think, again, if you compare with figures within the international community, it's dramatic decreases to have a 4,7, 4,3, etc. In other provinces, crime have already been stabilized. The South African Police Service did decide on the following priorities for the next 3 years. Firstly, organized crime, where we would like to concentrate on syndicates, criminal organizations, involved in activities such as, for instance, drugs, firearms, vehicle-related crime, corruption, as well as commercial crime. Secondly, serious and violent crimes, where we are going to follow a geographical approach. We've identified 124 police station areas in the country responsible for 50% or more of the crime. And I must indicate to you, we have 1,136 police station areas in the country. So the 124 responsible for 50% of the more of the crime will be concentrated on, and the whole purpose is to reduce crime again dramatically. Other priorities are the combating of crimes against women and children, as well as to improve our basic service delivery to the community. We only have 2 organizational priorities, and that is firstly our budget and resource management, as well as our human resource management, are being brought in line with our operational approaches. You will see, once we recruit, police members will go to those priority areas. Once we buy vehicles, the vehicles will go to priority areas. We've already purchased additional helicopters, and that will go to the priority areas. We have 2 major strategies to operationalize our priorities: the organized crime strategy and the serious and violent crime strategy. By means of the organized crime strategy, we will address those priorities. By means of the serious and violent crime strategy, we will concentrate in high crime areas, but also in those areas, address any problem relating to intergroup violence, address urban terrorism, that's located in the Western Cape, but also to police any major event, whether it's a sports event, whether it's a political event, etc., forms part of this strategy. In order to operationalize, we have established 32 crime combating teams in the country. In those crime combating teams, you will find members of visible police, public order police. We also have the support of the South African National Defence Force in that regard, detectives, intelligence personnel, etc. And they will concentrate in those areas where we have the high incidence of crime. Secondly, can we get that one? We've established the previous one, please. More than 50 organized crime task groups. Those organized crime task groups cooperate with Interpol. They cooperate in the region, the Southern African region, and in the country, they concentrate where the syndicate leaders are, where crimes are being committed. They concentrate on the transporting of the stolen goods, and they concentrate on the marketing places. We hope, esteemed members of the committee, while you're in South Africa, you will see some of the crime combating groups operating. We are not alone in this whole endeavor. It's an exercise between the police service and various partners, such as the South African National Defence Force. To give you an indication, we do not utilize soldiers in crime combating. But if we have, for instance, a major coordinated search operation, soldiers are responsible for the cordoning part of the operation. We cooperate, and that's Mr. Nguka, the Directorate of Special Operations, and Mr. Nguka will say more about that. The whole of the intelligence community, and Mr. Mathieu has already indicated that. Partners in the private sector. If we deal with bank robberies and heists, we have partners in the banking industry as well as within the security industry. If we deal with the hijacking of motor vehicles, we have partners within the insurance industry. However, we also have partners in government departments, such as the Minister of Health is here, the Minister of Welfare, etc., to address causes of crime in those areas. Our approach is in the next 3 years, total stabilization, total decrease of crime, but in cooperation with health, welfare, housing, etc. The causes of crime, which may be socioeconomic of nature, will be addressed in those areas. Lastly, I would like to indicate to you, how do we deal with big events? Firstly, Mr. Mathieu has mentioned our track record. And I think if you look at our track record, we've dealt with the World Rugby Cup, we've dealt with the All Africa Games, we've dealt with the Non-Alignment Movement Congress, we've dealt with the Commonwealth Heads of State Conference, etc. And in none of those events, we've had a single security-related incident. Secondly, at all ports of entry, whether an airport, a harbour, a seaport, we have a joint operational centre with Border Police, Home Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Customs and Excise deployed as a team. On the route from, if you enter the airport to the hotel, we do route protection by means of our highway patrol, our dog unit, special task force, etc. At the hotel, we do inner perimeter protection in the hotel by means of our VIP protection unit and the special task force. The special task force of the police is similar in training as well as operation to the British SAS as well as any of the US Special Forces. It's a highly trained force to deal with any high-risk operation. Whether it's a hijacking or an aircraft or whether it's a hostage situation, the special task force will deal with that. The outer perimeter of an hotel is protected by our visible police members, public order police, etc. The route from an hotel to a venue, whether a practice venue or competition venue, is again be protected in the same manner as we are doing it from the port of entry to a hotel. And at the venue, the stadium, inner perimeter protection by security companies with the support of the police service, reaction forces, etc., outer perimeter protection, visible police, public order police, etc. Lastly, I would like to say in connection with the crime situation and media reports on the crime situation, I agree totally with the new US ambassador to South Africa. I've read the report when the ambassador said that the exaggerated perception of crime in South Africa is possible an issue that should be addressed. Members of the committee, thank you very much.